Knicks are back and are going to make a big move. The Knicks are hoping that the fractures in the dynamics of other teams will allow them to pick up an alienated Tier 1 star. So we are going to cover each scenario in which the Knicks are monitoring, from the turmoil that could arise in Dallas to the destruction of the 76ers. The New York Knicks are perfectly set up to be the Eastern Conference Finals and contend for a title next year with the assets they have saved and are ready to make a deal for a number 1 star. Knicks fans are always very eager, and we will see this video and madly scream, but they can contend for a title this year. But hear me out. As we go along, I'll explain it all to you. It has been many years in which the Knicks were finals competitive, which we would have to go back to the late 90s to see those hard-nosed teams that were challenging for the championship. But it is coming back, and Knicks fans can feel it, especially on the run that they are on now. This team is specially built for a star to come in and be that easy bucket guy, for the go-to guy when the defense clamps down in the fourth, and the man that can penetrate through that playoff show-stopping defense. There are only certain caliber players that can easily create their own shot for a score. But these types of players are out there, and the Knicks have never been more ready. So let us show you the circumstances that will present themselves to the Knicks. One of these scenarios will happen and be so alluring, the Knicks will finally have their star this offseason. So stick with us until the end of the video to explore the soap opera that is the NBA, and also hear one shocking personal experience that points to a certain superstar being welcomed to New York more than others that will blow your mind. It's been a long time. Rakim, a New York native rapper, saying,
"It's been a long time.
And New York fans couldn't agree more. Not only for the championship season of the early 70s, but the superstars.
I'm going to New York.
The Knicks have whiffed on too many superstars to count, from LeBron James to Donovan Mitchell recently. But let us know in the comments if you disagree and think the Knicks should stay with their group now and win without a bona fide Tier 1 superstar. You might not be wrong, just tell us why you feel this way. Now, if the Philadelphia 76ers do not have a good performance in the playoffs this year, teams across the league will be licking their lips, with Joel Embiid and James Harden being two of the biggest names of their respective generations. Failure to make it past the earlier stages of contention could be chaos-causing. Some are suggesting that the beard might already be itching for a change of scenery as it is. If they miss out on a successful playoff campaign, then these two superstars will turn into two very lonely islands amongst the oceans of contention. The impact of such an eventuality would ripple out beyond those involved, certainly making other franchises scurry around with their ears to ground waiting and listening for Embiid's eventual movements. The Knicks are ready built for Joel. They would have their most talented player wearing the Knicks uniform of all time, and there are rumors that the Knicks and Embiid have mutual interest. And to make matters easier, Philly isn't far from NYC, so it's not going to be a major move for Joel logistically. With Joel Embiid, the Knicks would certainly become one of the top 3 favorites in the East to compete for a championship. The Knicks would have to ship Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett, and maybe another vital player and a large amount of draft picks to get this deal done. Do you think it's worth it playing with this successful chemistry? Let us know down in the comments section. Now, essentially, the Knicks would be receiving Patrick Ewing on steroids in the Big Apple and be in immediate contention to win the title. This is drama at its highest level because it's New York, baby, and everything there is amplified. And there is no greater drama than the next butting head superstar scenario, which might be so pressurized it has to burst by season's end. And that is the Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving debacle. Yep, I said it. That duo is destined for trouble in Dallas. And if things don't work out, if they cannot coexist, New York, watch out, because that might force Luka to want out of Dallas. Now, history has taught us that Kyrie ruins every franchise he touches and then leaves them in shambles. Well, if Dallas follows that trend and alienates Luka, well, New York might just have to make Dallas or Luka an offer that they can't refuse. The way things are set up in Dallas right now, it's not good. The loss of Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie hurts that team a lot and lessens any chance of winning that Dallas might have. Add on top of that these are two ball-dominant guards that might clash soon if things don't pick up and their losing ways continue. but there is not enough around the two of them to contend for a championship. Maybe they fix this in the offseason, but if they don't, what would this mean for the Knicks? Well, maybe a championship. You see, with the help of Luka Doncic, they would have that score that they can rely on for an easy deuce or tray when the shot clock is winding down. Luka is that guy. Let's also not forget Luka and Jalen Brunson have history and chemistry. And with the Villanova connection with Brunson and Hart on the Knicks and the way things are rolling here in New York, you bring another piece that has chemistry with Brunson and boom! With Luka, the Knicks have the best team in the East, no questions asked. But this is a long shot, but one can't help but question it because things might blow up fast in Dallas. And we know Luka is a competitor and might not agree with the direction that the franchise is headed in. Another question, could the cost be too high to acquire Luka? Now, even though the Knicks have every asset and draft picks to fork over, do they give up some vital pieces on this team for him that cost them their solid depth and chemistry? We know Mark Cuban is no dummy, and that franchise would want some of the Knicks' vital players, including Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel Quickley, in that deal. But speaking of costing too much, it doesn't cost a thing to like this video and subscribe to our channel, because we love you guys and it helps us get this video out to many more like-minded fans as yourselves. Now, the Knicks have built the number 6 offense in the league without having major leaps from RJ Barrett. But what would happen if you had someone come in and replace him? How great would this team really be? Enter DeMar DeRozan. Imagine a trade that would send Alex Caruso and DeMar DeRozan to the Knicks for RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, and Isaiah Hartenstein. DeMar averages 25.3 points per game on over 50% shooting. More output, not a way better percentage than RJ. You would have to question if the 22-year-old Barrett will ever get to DeRozan's level of play and gamble if you want this trade. Now at this point, RJ struggles and is a liability to this Knicks team. RJ is minus 40 this season. DeMar is a plus 76. Can you imagine the impact that DeRozan would have on this New York Knicks team? I see the banners being raised as I imagine this deal. You see, the Knicks are streaking. The Knicks have all the success in the world, but it doesn't mean a thing without that ring. And no team will be able to win in the playoffs and finals without a go-to scorer, a guy that can get easy buckets as defenses tighten up in the playoffs. As seen in the past, the Knicks struggle to score when defenses clamp down. Randle can only go left. Barrett can only go left. Randle has a hard time in double teams. Barrett proves to be too slow at times and can't get off a quality shot when the pressure's on. Yes, Brunson has the footwork of a skilled ballerina and does do some magical things getting to the cup while creating some easy shots at times. But he is small and might not be able to do it as easily as some of the elites. This is why having that go-to player that can bring you to the promised land is so important. Not every team can have the success the Detroit Pistons had, winning the ship without a Tier 1 bona fide superstar. Sure, the Knicks can pull it off in the next coming years, but the statistics show that it is unlikely. So if you have the assets to go after a star, then one would say you have to pull the trigger. Just don't tell Ja Morant those words. Other notable targets are Jimmy Butler, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Damian Lillard, all elites. Which then brings me to the main man that the Knicks should target as their guy. The number 1 superstar that would fit in New York better than any other player in the country. And he is not even from this country. We're talking about the Greek Freak. The locomotive force of Giannis Antetokounmpo is primed for New York's blue-collar culture. Tom Thibodeau has reinvigorated the Knicks in the last few years, but no player could take the team to new heights quite like Giannis.
The Freak.
It would be game over in the East, and competition for his services would be fierce. So with that kind of reputation, if he were to land on Team Orange and Blue, there would certainly be no slowing down, as he'd fit like a glove into the city and its Knickerbocker culture. Now, I happen to be at a couple of Bucks games at Madison Square Garden, and Giannis is highly loved and cheered by the Knicks fans more than any other player that I have seen checking out of the game. The thunderous roar when he walks off the court can only be serenaded by the Garden faithful. Now, there is something relatable to Giannis that only the New York fanfare can level with. I think the New York culture suits Giannis. So does the personnel of this New York Knicks team. Thibs loves two-way players, and Giannis is just that. Giannis Antetokounmpo has the best defensive rating this season with a 106.4 rating. He can get to the rim at will and score and draw double teams, which would open up the floor even more for the three-point snipers. It would add a whole other dynamic. Now I know what you're gonna say, Giannis will never leave the Bucks. Well, if they exit the playoffs early, you can be rest assured he will have doubts about winning in Milwaukee. They put all the pieces in place around him that he needs, and the Bucks are one of the deepest teams in the league. But who really wants to be in Milwaukee if you are not gonna be winning championships? Giannis has swag, and the marketability of him in New York is unparalleled. His brand would increase dramatically, and his visibility would shoot through the roof. And now that New York can actually compete for a title, why wouldn't the big man want to come here to New York and bring one home for the first time in 50 years? Giannis comes from humble beginnings and knows what it's like to be the underdog. If he was to bring the trophy home to New York, it would be the ultimate underdog move. And he would be more beloved here than Derek Jeter was for New York. He would be what Michael Jordan was to Chicago, what Tom Brady means to New England. Because of the Knicks' young core, he would be competing for the championship year after year with one of the NBA's youngest teams. He's averaging 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists this year. Imagine how valuable he would be to the Knicks and how much tougher he would make this team. You can just envision him. Julius Randle, Josh Hart, Iman Quickly, and Jalen Brunson together on the court. Can you imagine the toughness that group brings? Can you imagine how tough it would be to muscle up with and out-hustle with Thibodeau as the coach? The Greek freak in the Big Apple. That has a ring to it. Now, this would be the toughest and best team the New York Knicks have put together since the 90s, and I'm willing to bet they would be better.
Brunson throws it up, Robinson throws it down! What a come-from-behind victory for the Knicks.